Next to the high-stakes showdown over safety in the sky, which has been averted, at least for now. Airlines and two major cell phone providers have been at odds over 5G wireless technology going live tomorrow. Airline CEOs warned of potentially dangerous disruptions to travel, but today both Verizon and AT&T agreed to delay 5G near some airports. But as ABC's Gio Benitez reports, there is no long-term solution in sight.
Tonight, crisis averted. AT&T and Verizon agreeing to temporarily limit the number of towers around airports that will carry their high-speed 5G signals. The unexpected move coming just a day after major U.S. airlines warned that there could be a, quote, catastrophic disruption to air travel if 5G rolled out near major airports. Here's the worry. That stronger 5G signal is very similar to the frequency of a plane's radio altimeter, a device pilots use to judge their distance from the ground. Airlines say in poor weather conditions, when visibility is low, pilots might not have reliable information to land safely, potentially leading to thousands of diverted and canceled flights, and not just for passengers, but cargo too.
The FAA cannot tell us if there is a problem. The airlines are erring on the side of safety to make sure that it's scientifically determined that there isn't a problem and that the flying public stays particularly safe.
The wireless carriers have long said 5G would not interfere with aircraft electronics. AT&T saying in a statement, "We are frustrated by the FAA's inability to do what nearly 40 countries have done, which is to safely deploy 5G technology without disrupting aviation services." The FAA says other countries have created permanent buffer zones, keeping the signal away from airports. But the signal in the U.S. would be more than twice as strong as those used in Europe. Our Mary Bruce asking the White House today why they didn't act sooner, despite 2 years to prepare for the 5G upgrade.
Did the FAA drop the ball here?
You know, I think, Mary, there'll be lots of time to look back and see how we got here.
We'll talk to the former head of the FAA in just a moment, but Gio Benitez joins us now from Newark Airport tonight. Gio, despite the rollout delay near some major airports, the FAA says it still expects some disruptions tomorrow?
Yeah, that's right, Lindsay, especially among international carriers. We're talking about Emirates, Air India, Japan Airlines. They already canceled some flights in advance just in case. But the FAA says that overall, we have avoided the chaos that the major airlines were expecting and warning us about.
And Gio, for anyone like me, we see already in the top corner of our phone that 5G symbol, and we're wondering, what is all this fuss about? Because it seems like it's already there. Can you explain what's different about this new rollout?
Yeah, so it's a little bit confusing, but here's the deal. 5G is already here. This is a new frequency, a stronger, faster frequency for AT&T and Verizon. So you already do have some 5G, but starting tomorrow in certain areas, if you have AT&T and Verizon, you're going to start getting a faster 5G. You're going to notice videos downloading a lot faster. And so that's what we're talking about. It's a totally different frequency, and this is that frequency that they're concerned about with airplanes.
Kind of a complicated matter that you've been able to simplify for us. So thank you for that, Gio. Joining us now is the former head of the FAA under Presidents Obama and Trump, Michael Huerta. Thank you so much for your time tonight. As I mentioned, you led the agency for 5 years in this 5G transition. It didn't happen overnight. It involves planning by the FAA. As you know, officials have known that this was coming. Why are we at this point right now, so late in the game? Did current officials drop the ball?
Well, I think the big challenge is that the telecoms correctly point out that 5G has been rolled out in more than 40 countries and there haven't been issues. But it's been after extensive consultation between the regulators for the telecom industry and for the aviation industry to ensure that towers are positioned and power levels are such that there are no interference problems. And that's what needs to take place here. The concerns that have been raised by the aviation industry and the FAA have been well known for at least the last couple of years. Why that information and these detailed discussions have not taken place, I really can't answer that question, but those are discussions that need to take place to ensure that 5G can coexist with aviation safety.
Why would 5G safety be different in France, for example, than it would be here?
Well, there are two things that are different. First of all, where 5G is deployed in the spectrum and its proximity to the spectrum that is used by the aviation industry is the first issue. What we're talking about here is the spectrum that is being made available to Verizon and AT&T is located in close proximity to the spectrum used for these critical aviation safety systems. The second thing is that France did engage in a lot of consultation between their safety regulator on the aviation side and their telecommunications regulator to ensure that towers were placed and power levels were such that they could mitigate any concerns that were there. And that's the conversations that have not taken place here.
Are you surprised that it's gotten to this point, essentially the 11th hour, where literally the CEOs of top airline companies had to publicly disclose our entire air system could collapse tomorrow if the cell phone companies did not pause implementation of this new technology?
It is surprising and it's unfortunate. I do think that, the concerns have been well known for years. And again, this is a problem that can be solved through the leadership of the appropriate government agencies, the FCC and the FAA, the administration all working together to ensure that there are no safety concerns. If you look at it from an airline standpoint, if their safety regulator says there is a hazard, obviously they have to adopt a very cautious position and do everything that they can to ensure that flights are safe. And so what the airline CEOs are doing is really calling on the government to work together to solve this problem. To a certain extent, the airlines and the telecommunications companies are caught in the middle. What we really need is some leadership from the agencies.
And as we've reported, AT&T and Verizon both said that they will give a temporary reprieve and block implementation of this new 5G close to airports. But they paid $80 billion for this. How long do you think it'll take for the FAA to deem this safe?
I think that it's not all on the FAA. It's also the FCC. I can't explain why, when the spectrum was auctioned, these concerns were not made known at that time. But I do think that everyone needs to focus over the next few months in ensuring, airport by airport and aircraft type by aircraft type, that any concerns can be mitigated so that there is a solution here. It just requires everyone working together.
And lastly, is this a situation where, in essence, our government bureaucracy has failed us? I mean, we've known that this was coming, as I said. Other countries use this technology. And we were all left waiting today for private companies to step in and take this action. If you were leading the FAA today, what would you do to resolve the situation?
Well, the most important thing that has to happen is to bring everyone together, the technical spectrum experts at the FCC and the FAA. I think that, the FCC has great spectrum experts. They don't think there's a problem. But what they need to understand is the FAA has to make its own independent finding of no hazard. And so what that requires is bringing all those technical experts together to decide on what is the best policy. Communication is key here, and that's what everyone really needs to focus on.
Thank you for communicating with us today. Former head of the FAA, Michael Huerta, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.